Today we're going to be talking about democratic schools. When we think of the word democratic, there are a few key points that go into that definition. The first that you may come up with is that it is governed by the people. Second is that everyone has an equal say. Every eligible citizen has an equal say. Democracy strives for equality. And democracy, in the end, hopefully will also strive that everyone has the same opportunities. So when you think of these four definitions of democratic, governed by the people, eligible citizens, equality, and opportunities, how do you think that that would play into the definition of being a democratic school? We talk about democracy as in democracy of a nation, democracy of a town, democracy of a people, but how does that tie into our schools? When you think about schools, we often talk about the people within the schools and who the stakeholders are in the schools. So our main stakeholders in the school obviously are the children. And then of course there's the administration, the staff, the community. And the community is not only parents, but also the other taxpayers in that community, right? And if you think about these stakeholders that are part of the school system, you need to think about who the major stakeholder is, because usually that in a democracy there is a majority vote. And so when you're thinking about schools, the majority stakeholder in schools are children, right? There are always more children than there are teachers or administrative staff of community members. The children are the ones who are the largest stakeholders in that school. And when you think about majority ruling, and you think about the way school systems are run, who are the ones that are thought of least, or who are the ones that are listened to the least? It's the children. Right? They're our main goal, and they're our main stakeholders, but they're the ones who have the least to say, whose voices are heard the least. So democratic schools really strive to give these children a voice. In a true democratic school, students have the right to say yes or no to a teacher, to a teacher's hiring, meaning they have power over hire and fire. Students have a voice in what is important in the school. For example, it could be something simple like what's for lunch, or it could be something like what do we need to spend money on, a pool or on repairing bathrooms. Students have a voice in that. In a true democratic school, there are meetings that are run by kids. Meaning that each grade level has a representative that comes into this meeting, this administrative meeting. They are, of course, also adult guided, but the decisions are made by the students, and the power is given over to them in a true democratic school. We are looking to speak to these stakeholders that have really the most to lose or the most to gain in a school setting. There are some examples of democratic schools here in the United States. There are probably about 50 of them across the United States, mostly on the coasts, of the country, but some also in the middle. There's actually one in St. Louis, and I believe one in Chicago as well. There are also democratic schools in Europe, quite a few of them. But Europe, it's a little bit different because they tend to be a little bit more democratic by nature than our American counterpart public schools. But what they strive for, again, democratic schools, what they strive for is giving children a voice. And by children, I don't just mean little children. A lot of times people think of that as a younger demographic, but I mean anybody, you know, K through 12 before they get into higher ed. So they're looking to give children a voice. They're looking for equality in opportunities, for all kids, and they are also looking for collaboration. Building collaboration between the students, building collaboration between the teachers. They are looking for those things as well. Now, of course, there are a few downsides to democratic schools, such as, can children really make decisions like that? Can students be empowered to say who gets hired and who gets fired? Are they in a position to decide what is best for the school and what is best for them and for their classmates? And then, of course, there's another downside in that many democratic schools, actually most democratic schools, are private, and they do have a tuition. So not everybody can attend, and in that case it is not very equalized, because you're leaving out a certain demographic of people who will not be able to attend these schools. So those are just some basics about democratic schools here in the United States. And based on that information, you can kind of make up your own mind to see whether we should be headed more in that direction, or if we can find a balance between what we have now and a truly democratic school. And to aid that decision, we will be doing a small group work. I'll be dividing you up into groups of 5, and you'll be answering some questions and doing brief presentations after. Thank you.